Hello, my dear learners. Welcome back to the channel. We will continue with our discussion on Power BI. Today is the 7th day of the training. In the previous session, we had basically finally reached the Power BI desktop, right? After learning everything related to data transformation on Power Query, we finally have reached desktop. We understood the report layout, got a little familiar with the interface. And we also learned how to create a bar graph, a text table, and a pie chart. And for each of these graphs, we also explored all the options that we have under format. Okay, what kind of formatting can be done? Today, we will go a step further. We will understand about the slicer visual or the filter visual that is there in the visualizations pane. We will understand about the filters pane, which we have not yet touched upon, from a developer's perspective. So how can a Power BI developer use this pane and apply filter conditions? We will also talk about an option called as edit interactions, which will control the interaction between two graphs. How can the charts in a particular report interact with each other? We will also look at what is the drill down option, how it helps us. And there is another very interesting option in Power BI, which is called drill through. So when you have to filter from one worksheet, a chart in one worksheet, to another graph in some other page, so from one page to another across pages, drill through option comes in handy. And we will also talk about syncing the slicers across different pages. If you have the same slicer, basically the same filter visual across multiple pages, and if you want it to be in sync across all the pages, then how is it done? So this would be the agenda for this particular session. All right. So without much delay, I will open Power BI and start off first by getting connected to the data. And for the remaining sessions, as I told you all yesterday, for all the remaining sessions, we will be using copy chain tables itself as our data source. So I'm going to take fact table, location table, and product table and load the data. We know that it will automatically detect the relations between the table, automatically load the data into the model, and also define the relationships between the tables in the model. Just for visual confirmation, to make sure that everything is perfectly detected, if you want, you could go to the model view and you can check the relationships established. This we had discussed yesterday. Now I'll go back to the report view. Now, as per our agenda, first thing is the slicer or the filter visual. But before that, let me create some chart, something that we might want to filter the data. Okay, a graph where we might want to use a filter. So I will use a simple bar graph like I did yesterday, this one, and make it slightly bigger. Let's say I would like to visualize the data for various products that are being sold. And I would like to check the profit of each of the product. So I'll take it into the x-axis. So you can see the list of products and you can see the bars indicating the profit made by those products. Now, let's say I want to give a filter here where the user can decide which product to see and which product not to see. A filter. So how do I put an interactive filter in this graph? How do I create an interactive filter on this chart? We can do so by clicking on this icon over here. This one in the visualizations pane. This is the slicer visual. Okay, or an interactive filter if you're familiar with other tools. So when I click on the slicer visual, you can see it has come. Sorry, I made a mistake. What's the mistake? I had selected the bar graph and then I clicked on the slicer, which means it basically replaced the bar graph with the slicer. So I'll undo that with a Control Z. If you want to add a new visual, what should be done? You have to click outside in the blank space. You should not be selecting a graph. If you select a graph and click on a visual, it is basically going to replace that chart with the new visual. So I'll just click here and then click on the slicer visual. Now slicer visual has come and it is here at the bottom. If we want, we can move it around. Next thing, is the field. You can see, depending on the visual, the options down here will vary. Okay, here it's saying which field do you want to use. So I would like to use maybe product type. Let me take product type. So each product type has multiple products under it. Therefore, I'm using product type. And look at the appearance of this slicer visual. It is coming as check boxes. We can see check boxes. So we can select coffee and we can see that how only data pertaining to coffee is appearing in the other graph. The interaction is already established automatically. If I choose espresso, only data pertaining to that, or herbal tea, then data pertaining to herbal tea will show up. And when I click on tea, data pertaining to tea will show up. Okay, now how do I somehow enable multiple selection? It is automatically enabled. Right now, when I click on espresso, you can see coffee got deselected. That is because multiple selection is possible when you hold down the control key on your keyboard. So now I'm pressing down the control key and then I will select coffee. I'm going to hold down the control key again and select herbal tea. Hold down the control key and select tea. So it's possible to make multiple selection provided control key is selected, or you could just deselect everything and then select one by one. Okay. Now, how do I make some modifications to this filter? Maybe the way it is appearing, or maybe I want it at the top. Okay, not to this side. I want it as the top on this top section. Maybe I don't want it as a vertical list, one below the other, but as horizontal tiles. So we must select the visual and go to the format pane. Okay, to format the visual. So this is selected. You can see the outline, the frame around it. Now, when I go to the format option, I can see slicer related options given to me. Slicer settings. By default, it is a vertical list. We could use tile, then it comes like this, or we could use drop-down list. If you feel that the space has to be used very efficiently over here, you can make it a drop-down. So right now, I don't have too many things here. So I think I could very well go ahead and use a tile. So the style is style, which means they are going to be arranged as tiles. And I can just go up and adjust the height and the width. So it's coming like this. Need not be so wide. This is perfect. This is enough. In sync with this chart at the bottom. So maybe this chart I will expand. That's it. Okay, now here, when I click on this visual again, okay, when I click on this visual and go back to the format, next thing is slicer header. What should be the font type? We have all these options. The next thing, border, background, etc., which I will not change. These are pretty simple. You can explore. So slicer settings is done. Slicer header. Next, values. So slicer settings, selection. Okay, this is very important. So I chose the style, followed by the style, which I made tile. There is something called as selection, which is very, very important. Something that one needs to be familiar with. So multi-select with control is turned on. Okay, multi-select with control is turned on. That's why when I hold down the control key, I'm able to select multiple options. Single select is turned off. So if you want to force the users to select only one option at a time, then you can turn this on. And when single select is turned on, multi-select is obviously not possible. Single select is turned on, which means these are mutually exclusive. I can select only one member at a time. And based on what I select, the information in the chart is getting updated. Okay. Now I'll turn off single select and enable multi-select. And I would also like to have an option to see all values, select all in one go. So this can be turned on. So I have a select all option. When I click on it, everything is selected. Then I can go and deselect what I might not require. You can deselect, but when I click on select all, everything is selected. So the settings can be changed by clicking on the visual. You select the visual, go to the format visual section in the visualizations pane and go to slicer settings, where two things are very important: the style and the selection. Rest of them are all pretty self-explanatory. You can actually explore them. We did this. Yesterday, we explored each and every option under the formatting pane, right? Similar options are over here, which you could explore. All right. So that is about showing a slicer. Okay. Here I have a slicer on the product, and based on the products that I select, my chart is getting updated. Now let's say this is page 1. So this is data at product details. Okay, this is product details. Let's say I'm going to make another graph now, where I will use maybe a donut visual. Okay, let's say I want a donut visual showing different product types and the profit from each product. This is my visual. Okay, and let's say over here also, I will have a slicer. I will have a slicer for market again, for product type again, like I had in the previous sheet on product type. Similarly, I want one over here as well. So I'm going to click on the slicer visual and I will bring product type into the field. I have my slicer visual here as well. So same settings I will make. I will go and make this a tile. And let's say these are arranged like this, one below the other over here in this case. Okay, I'll keep it over here. This is my graph and this is my slicer. So whatever I select for that particular member, it's showing me the data. Okay, if I select here herbal tea, if I select tea, then it's showing the information. And I would like to enable all option also. Okay, so people also can select everything. Now both the slicers brings in both the pages, which is product details and also product type. Also in product type, in both the pages. This is one page, this is another. I have the slicer on product type, which is common in both. So I want them to be synced at all times. Meaning over here, when the user selects, let's say coffee or let's say tea, here tea is selected and we have 3 types of tea. We have Darjeeling, we have Earl Grey, and we have green tea. Tea is selected right now. Okay, so when I have tea selected on this visual, when I go to the next worksheet, next page, I want tea only to be selected over here also, not all. Or if I make some change here and I select coffee, then when I go back to the previous sheet or the previous page, it should automatically change to coffee. It is just remaining as tea. So how do I make sure that they are synced? How do I sync them? Okay, how do we make sure they are always in sync? So I'm going to select the visual, that is the slicer, and go up to view. So select the slicer and then I go up to view. Over here towards the end, there is an option called as sync slicers. Synchronize slicers and control their visibility across pages in your report. So when I click on this, it opens sync slicers pane. Okay, so where is this particular slicer applicable? Where is it applied right now? The one on product type. It is there here on the product details page. This is the page name. Okay, this is the page name. It is on the product details page and it is also on the product type page. If you notice here, I called it product type. And I'm showing this particular slicer in both the pages. That is what the I means. Means it is there. Visually, it is appearing in both pages. But is it being synchronized across both pages? No. So if I go and select these check boxes, then it will get synchronized, which means suppose I select everything over here. When I go to the other sheet, you will notice, that everything is selected over here. Now, suppose I change the filter over here. Okay, suppose I just focus only on coffee, or let me deselect. Let's say over here, I'm focusing only on tea. Then when I go back to product details, you will notice how this filter is updated to tea and we are seeing only tea related items. Okay, suppose here I change it to coffee. Okay, Colombian, Darjeeling, Earl Grey, these are coffee. And I go to product type. You will notice how here coffee got included. One moment. Coffee as well as tea. Okay, both are selected. Let me deselect this. Coffee. Colombian, decaf Irish cream, Amaretto. And when I go here, you will notice how it syncs up accordingly. Only coffee. So the filters are in sync. In fact, over here, for this donut visual, let me just put product into details. Then you can understand. You see the breakup? Only coffee and 3 items. You can see the breakup of the 3 items. So this is called as syncing the slicers. It makes sure that we control the visibility and also we control how they can be synced across multiple charts. In a way, all the charts are on, on the same page, you can say, right? We can say that all the charts are following the same rule or the same condition is getting applied, the same option is being selected. And all the charts reflect this data for the same product type, irrespective of where you make that selection. So that is the beauty of syncing the slices. Now that I'm done with syncing the slices, I can close this pane and remove it. So this is a very, very interesting feature that we have. Showing the slicer visual will make the filter an interactive filter, and then using the sync slicers option to sync that slicer which is present across multiple pages is a very, very useful feature to use. So 2 things we have covered from the agenda: slicer or filter visual and formatting it, syncing the slicers across pages. So I think these 2 are done. I will now talk about the filters pane. This is from a developer's perspective. When you show the slicer visual, you are basically making it an interactive filter where the end users will be able to see this. They can interact with your graphs, with the graphs that you have created using these interactive slices. But filters pane is something else. Filters pane that we have is for a Power BI developer to work with. If you as a developer are given certain requirements and you need to filter to achieve the purpose, then you make use of the filters pane. So let me open a new page to show you to talk about the filters pane here. First of all, I will create a visualization. Let's say we'll take a simple bar graph. And I would like to show the data for various states over here. Okay, I'm going to take state. And let's say I'm looking at the profit from different states. So my chart is showing me the profit from across different states. Yeah, almost all the states are profitable. So this is profit across different states. I'll very quickly format it because I would like to turn on the data labels. Okay, turn on the data labels which are appearing at the end of the bar. I would like to position them at the inside end so that they go inside the bar. And I would like to you see the last one, New Mexico, we're unable to see the label. That is because the space is not sufficient inside the bar to show it. So if I turn on overflow text, even though it might be going outside the bar, the label will come. Now New Mexico has the label. And maybe we'll use a yeah, that should be fine. So I have all the labels also appearing and I'm happy with the labels. Be slight background color to the label so that it gets highlighted a little bit. Some color which can look dominatingly good here. Okay. Yeah, so you can see the labels now have a slight background color, so it makes them visually clear. All right. Now I'll just go back to my visual tab. So I was talking about filters pane and how we can make use of it. So these are the different states for which we have data. Okay. Now when I open the filters pane, this is the state visual. This is a visual where I have the states displayed and also the profit being displayed. So I can filter the number of states that are being displayed here if I would like to remove certain states. Okay. Now the end user is not doing it. Let's say I have been given a set of requirements based on which I'm supposed to remove some states from here. So I could just go here and apply the filter conditions. Expand it. First thing you will see is basic filtering. Basic filtering is simple selection criteria where you select what you want to show and then you uncheck whatever is not required. Suppose I want to show data only for these particular states, maybe Nevada, maybe New Hampshire, maybe New Mexico. So you see whatever I have selected are appearing. The states which I did not select, Iowa, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, they are all gone. This is basic filtering. It is simple selection criteria where you select what is supposed to be displayed in the graph and you uncheck what is not necessary. Now over here, when I click on this drop down, there is an option called as advanced filtering. Now what will this do? So when I go with advanced filtering, it gives me a lot of other options. So let me switch to basic filtering first and select everything. Okay, let everything be there. We will do the filter through advanced filtering option. Over here, show items when the value and look at the options. This is text, isn't it? This is a text field. State is a text field which holds the names of the states. Textual information. So the options that we have here under advanced filtering are relevant to the text. Like maybe the name of the state, I need those states which contain something in their name. Let's say contains the character C. And I'll apply the filter. So only the states which have the character C. This is not case sensitive. Right? I'm sure you all might have noticed that what I have given here is lowercase c, but I'm getting Colorado, I'm getting California. I'm getting states where we have capital letter also. So it is not case sensitive. Okay. Suppose I want states which do not contain that character C. These are all the states without that character in them. Okay, you could also do anything like starts with. Let's say I want the names of the states which start with I. So I'll get Illinois and Iowa. Okay, like this we have different options. Starts with, does not start with, is not, blank, not blank, empty, not empty. So we have a lot of options. And we can also give a combination of options. Like for example, let's say it is supposed to contain the character I, means I could be in any place, not necessarily start with I. It could be at any place. Or it should contain the character, or it contains the character, what shall we take? Maybe I'll take N. Okay, so we can also use and or to limit what we are going to see. So if I say it should contain I and also N, then it's only these states, I and N. You can see California, I and N, Illinois, I and N, Washington, I and N, Wisconsin, I and N. Okay, not necessarily in a sequence. Not necessarily in a sequence. If I is present and N is present, it's enough, like in New Hampshire, like in New Mexico. Suppose I say or, either I or N, then I will get many options. It should either have I or it should have N. Ohio, it has only I. Okay, New York, it has only N. So either or condition, you can either go with or you can go, or you could go with and. If both the conditions are to be satisfied, you use and. If one of the condition being true is sufficient, you will go with or. Okay, so what will and do? The logical operator and, it will give you the output when both the conditions are satisfied. But or, it will give you the output when even one of the conditions is satisfied. Okay, so that is advanced filtering. Now here we have another interesting feature for advanced, which is top end. So what I'll do here is, let me just change it to top N. Okay. So my requirement, let us say, is to obtain only top 5 states. Based on what? I want top 5, but based on what? Based on profits. I'm bringing in profit. Now this condition will fetch me only the top 5 profitable states. These are the top 5 profitable states. Okay. We go to basic filtering. Make sure everything is selected. Okay. Now I will go to top N and I will say I want only top 5 based on the overall profit. Apply filter. So these are the top 5. California, Illinois, Iowa, New York, and Colorado. Top 5 profitable states. The other option that we have is bottom. So you can focus on top, whatever number of members you might want to see, or bottom. Let's say I want to know which are the least profitable states and report it to the client. So I'll just select bottom here and apply the filter. These are the bottom 5. So this is a filter which basically a Power BI report developer will be using. Okay. And the filter based on state. Okay. I hope this is clear. Now, what if you might want to clear the filter? What if you don't want to apply any condition? Just click on that clear filter button. We can also hide the filter. Okay. Next, let me collapse it and go to profit. So I showed you how to apply a filter based on the state field. Now we will talk about how to apply a filter based on the profit field, the numerical field. What kind of options is this going to provide? So let me expand it. I want to show items whose profit is, again, look at the options. So relevant, accordingly, the options are different over here now. They've been changed. Less than a certain value, less than or equal to a certain value, greater than a certain value, or greater than or equal to something, is not, is blank, is not blank, null and non-null kind of a thing. Okay, so let's say I want the members whose profit is greater than 10,000, greater than 10,000. So if I apply the filter, what will happen? All these members from Wisconsin downwards, they will not appear because they are not meeting the condition of profit being greater than 10,000. So you see, only up to Nevada. Again, over here also we have the ability to check multiple things. Right now I have put only one condition, that I want to look for the members whose profit is greater than 10,000. Let's say I want to add another condition. Profit should be greater than 10,000 and less than 30,000 or less than 20,000. So my intention is to look for the members whose profit is in this range, from 10,000 up to 20,000. I'm using and as the logical operator. Greater than 10,000, less than 20,000. So what will happen? These members will come. New York, Iowa, they will all be removed now. See, 10,000 to 20,000 range. Okay, so if I say it should be less than 10,000 or greater than 20,000. So what will happen now? If I put this condition that I want the members whose profit is less than 10,000 or greater than 20,000, which means apart from the members that are here from 10,000 to 20, apart from this, excluding these, the rest of the members will appear. I'm defining an opposite condition now. I want the ones less than 10,000 or greater than 20,000, means in between I'm not interested. So if I apply this filter, look at that. Below 10,000 ones have come and above 20,000 ones have come. Okay, so like this, you can also define your filters based on any field. It could be a non-numerical field. Accordingly, the options will be updated, or it could be a numerical field. And based on that, the options will be updated. Let me clear this filter. Okay, when I click on this eraser kind of thing, right? When I click here, the filter will be cleared and back to the original data. And we can also go ahead and hide this. Okay. Next, we have something called as filters on this page. If you add a filter here, it will be applicable. So let's say I'll take profit here. Profit here. So it will get applied to all the visuals in that page because I have only one. Okay, it will get applied to all the visuals. So filters on this page, let's say where the profit is less than 10,000. Apply. Okay, it works with the filters on that page. We don't have filter visual here, right? Sorry, my bad. Not this. Okay, not this. So this we will see later. This is slightly different. We will see it later. So we have seen filters on this visual. Okay, the filters that are there on this visual, profit and state. Now I don't have a filter on this page that it would work with. If I had a filter visual, then I could have gone here. Filter on this page or filters on all pages. So for example, here I will put one slicer visual. And I will put one state into that. And let me take it over here. So when I'm creating a filter visual, what happens? This is basically an interactive filter, right? User will be able to select and deselect things over here according to which my chart will get updated. But what options would you like to show to your user in this filter? Sometimes they could be null, sometimes they could be a blank option. How do you optimize the list of options that you're going to show on the filter, on the interactive filter to your end user? Okay, that is where filters on this page mean. Okay, I have a state filter on this page. Select the visual. Let me just format it and show all. Select all. Well, we will come back maybe to this concept. So state into here. Okay, state into filters on this page. Now, what options do I want to show? I'll expand it. And let's say I'll go with advanced filtering or basic filtering. We have understood the concept. So we'll just go with basic filtering. And I would like to only show 5 states in that visual. Let me just scroll down, okay? So here, you see whatever changes I'm making here is impacting this visual, the filter visual, because I'm doing it on filters on this page. So whatever options I select here, let's say I just want the end user to work with only these states, okay? Now, my job is done over here. My job is done over here. And I will just minimize this pane. So what am I doing? I have given an interactive filter to the end user. However, the options that are over here have been limited. I'm not showing all the states. Filter on this page, on the state field, has only certain options, and depending on what user selects here, accordingly the chart gets updated. That is anyway going to happen. So if I hold down the control key and make multiple selection, you can see multiple values are getting selected. But how did I limit the options over here? By using the filters pane. On the filters pane, by editing the filter that is there on this page, which is the state field. Okay. Now we also have filters on all pages. So if you have filters across multiple pages that you want to get, configure, then you can just add the field here and you can configure it. But you need to be careful because this is like you're editing filters on all pages together, the options in the filter. The options that you're going to show in the filter is what you're editing here. Then the user, based on the options that you have presented, user will select and deselect things according to which the chart will get updated. So I hope you all got the connection between these three. So this filters pane that we are looking at is purely for a Power BI developer to use. That person, the developer, based on the requirements, can limit the amount of data being displayed on the graph by applying filters. Okay. They can also limit the amount of data that is being displayed within a filter visual by applying some conditions. So this condition that I applied, state condition, it is basically working with the filter visual. And based on what I select over here, accordingly, the chart is getting updated. Okay, that is how they are all interlinked. And the filter that I applied, on this visual, right? Filter on this visual, this one, on this visual. Filter on this page, this one. Okay, so that is about how we work with the filters pane as a Power BI developer already. I hope it's clear. Now, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I will take it up. Otherwise, we'll proceed to looking at edit interactions, drill down and drill through options. Okay, let me open the video. Okay, no questions. All right. So I hope whatever I'm teaching is clear, and that is why there are no questions. All right. Wonderful. All right. So let's proceed then. We will be talking about edit interactions. This deals with the how two graphs, how the charts that are present on the canvas interact with each other. How the charts on the canvas interact with each other. That is what edit interactions will be. So I will need a couple of charts over here. So I'll just open a new sheet, new page for the chart interactions to show you how they interact with each other. So let me minimize this. It's not required. Let's say I'm going to put one bar graph, something that we are familiar with, and maybe show various products here and the sales. Okay. Now I'm also going to have one pie chart, which where I will use product type and sales. And maybe product, if we want, we can take it into details so you can see further exploding of the pie happen. This is optional, whether you want to keep it or no, it's optional. For now, let me remove it. Okay, this is my report where I have one pie chart. And I have one bar graph. I have one bar graph. Okay. So by default, two graphs that are present on one page, they will interact with each other. Means what? So if I select any product type over here, you can notice how the other graph is highlighting the data relevant to this product. It's highlighting the data relevant to this product. Means all the espresso related items are getting highlighted. If I choose coffee, you can see Colombian decaf Irish cream are getting highlighted, so on. And if I choose tea, you can see relevant data. So it's happening. Now, when I select any member over here, for example, Darjeeling, it is a part of tea. It is one of the items that we have, tea items. So you can see the share of Darjeeling in tea is getting highlighted, and you can see a third line item on the tooltip pertaining to the highlighted member. Okay. So when I clear the selection, means when I just click in the blank space and not select any particular data point, it is back to the original. Now, the interaction between these two graphs can be controlled by going up to the format option. See, there are a few contextual ribbons that will appear depending on where you click. So if I click here, when I have not selected any graph, I don't have the drill down, drill through, or data drill basically, or the format option. Okay, these are things that will be there by default. But when you choose a graph, okay, when you select a graph, some contextual ribbons pertaining to the particular selection that we have made will appear, means contextual to what we have selected. Okay, so I would like to click here. I want to see how this chart is interacting with the other graph. How is this interacting with the other? And I would like to make some modifications to that. So I selected the pie chart. I will just go up to the format ribbon, and there is something called as edit interactions. So when I click on edit interactions here, you can see these three new icons which have appeared at the bottom of the chart bar graph. If I click here, it means this chart will not interact with this graph. The interaction will be completely stopped. This means stop. It is a stop symbol, none. Okay, right now there's no interaction that will be happening. So when I select something here, the other chart is not getting, accordingly, it's not getting highlighted or filtered. No interaction because I stopped it. All right. The one prior to this is none. The one before it is highlight, which is by default always available. So when I click on highlight, one of these only you can select. These are mutually exclusive. You can't select all the three. So when I click on highlight, when I click something here, relevant data gets highlighted on the other side. When I click something here, relevant data is highlighted. Rest of the data is dimmed out. Now let me clear the selection. The third icon, or basically the first icon from the left side, is filter. So if at all I enable this option, then whatever I select, the other chart, this is filtering the other chart. So based on the selection that I make in the pie, data pertaining to that will appear in the other graph. Rest of the data is removed. That's the difference between highlight and filter. So when you say filter, relevant data is kept. The irrelevant data, which does not pertain to the selection made, is completely removed. If I turn on highlight now, so whatever I select, relevant data is highlighted. Rest of the data is not removed. It is still there. It's just very dim. Okay. And when I click on this, there is no interaction between the two. So no matter what I select here, the other graph will not interact. So that is edit interactions, and that is what it will do. So you can use edit interactions and you can decide how it should interact and finish. That's it. Now that I have enabled filter interaction, whenever I click here, the other chart will get filtered out. Now, what if I might want to achieve it the other way around? So when I click here, when I select a member here, relevant data is getting highlighted, right? What if I might not want to see this interaction happen? So here you see edit connections is anyway active. Edit connections is already enabled. So when I click here, I have these three icons on the top. So if I say none, from here, there will be no interaction in the other direction. If I click on highlight, then based on what I select, relevant data is highlighted. And if I click on filter, based on what I select, data only for that will appear here. Data only for that member will be appearing on the other side. So this is how you can decide what should happen. Here, I think highlight is more relevant. So from this side, we are doing filter on the other graph. But when I go to the other graph and come to this graph, highlighting is enabled. However you want, you can make them interact with each other. So that is called edit interactions between the graphs. You could do it amongst multiple graphs also. Right now, I have only 2 graphs, but I could have n number of graphs, filter visuals. Everything can be synced up like that. I mean, you can make everything interact with each other using this feature. Very interesting and useful feature again. So that is edit interactions. Next, we will talk about the drill down option. What is drill down? First, let's understand what is drill down. Then we will understand what is drill through. I will show you a generic example. Then I will do with a more relevant example, which is a line chart. Okay. So drill down and drill through. All right. Let's use a bar graph again, something that we are familiar with. And let's say I'll take market size. Then I will take market below market size. And then I will take state under market. Okay. And the data that I would like to see, let's say, is sales. What is the first field I have here? Market size. So let me remove market and state for now. Let me remove market and state. Look at the visual. This is my visual, which is showing me the sales from various markets, major market and small market. These are the two categories of markets. Now, under each market, there are market types. Under each market type, which is either major market or small market, we have some markets, regions, okay? But I can't see that. And here, down here, you don't see any other thing also coming up, okay? Nothing. So when I bring market and place it below market size over here, now you can see certain icons which have come up. This is to drill down. This is also to go to the next level, and this is also to go one level down in the hierarchy. Now, why do we have three options? One single arrow, two downward pointing arrows, and one like a hierarchy. Let's talk about it. But I will bring in state also. I want, let's say, 3 levels here. I have 3 levels. So when you use this option, okay, when you use go to the next level in the hierarchy, I'm going to click on it. It simply expands. I had market size. Now it's going to the next level and showing me the data for different markets, West, Central, East, and South. I think it will be meaningful to enable the data labels over here. Yeah. Okay, observe the labels also. Yeah, now I think they are visible, right? Clearly. Okay. Now, if I click on this again, what is the next level after market? What do I have here? State. So when I click here, it goes to the next level and shows me the data for various states. So it's jumping from one level to other. I was at market size. Then when I clicked on this, it showed me only markets, which is the second level. And again, when I clicked, it showed me the state, which is the third level. Now, by clicking on this arrow, we drill up. This is the highest level. So I can't go any further up. That is why this icon is disabled. I cannot go any further up. So it just shows you the next level in the hierarchy. Directly, it will show you the next level market. Then it shows you the next level state. Then I can go up. Now, how is this option expand all down one level in hierarchy different from the previous? Let me click and show. So when I click on this, it maintains the level in the hierarchy. So we had major market and we had small market, isn't it? So under small market West, major market Central East, small market Central, major market West, small market South Central. So you see how it is neatly showing you both the levels. Okay, under each market, major market or small market, we have 4 regions each. So now we have 8 data points. 8 data points corresponding to it. Maybe it will be meaningful to sort it based on market size. You can see that small market, all the 4 regions, major market, all the 4 regions. Okay, that is what this will do. It will retain the parent level and then drill down to the child level. Now, again, if I click here, it's going to retain the parent level. So under small market, West, under West, what are the different states? Under South, what are the different states? East, what are the different states? Central, what are the different states? Again, when we talk about major market, we have all of those options. So that's the difference between this icon, which is going one level down in the hierarchy, and this one. It just takes you directly, jumps to the next level, ignoring the parent. It just jumps to the next level. Then we can drill up. Then what is the purpose of this single drop-down arrow? If I click on it, it turns on data point drill down. Drill mode on a particular data point is turned on. which means I can go select the mark and that alone will expand. I selected small market, that alone. If I click on west under small market, only that much. So point to point drill down. The data point that you select, on that it will drill down. Okay. So if I select major market, it drills down only on major market. Here, if I select east, it will drill down only on that particular member east. So expanding a desired attribute, expanding only the attribute that we desire to expand and not the others. So that is what drill mode on means. You're going to click on a data point, specific data point to drill down. Okay. So here, I think we'll not have time to cover drill through. I'll take it up tomorrow, but drill down itself, we will cover it in detail. So for drill down, I will try to do it with a line chart. We'll also understand the concept of a line chart here. Line chart is something that is created when you're working with time series data to perform time series data analysis. So definitely I need a date field and all. Anyway, I'll first of all click on line chart visual. So it appears there. This is my line chart. And let's say I'm interested in looking at the profit across different, of course, years. So I'll take order date here. Now, when you use a date field to create a report, right? When you use a date field, it is automatically going to be stored as a hierarchy. And you see year, quarter, month, and day. It is automatically stored as a hierarchy. Suppose I click on year. Let's say I don't want to go all the way till there. Let me close this. I'll just bring date. And then I will bring profit. Okay, date and profit. So first I brought date, then I brought profit. Now it is showing me year to year. If you bring profit first and then date, somehow it showed at day level. Okay. So here, year, quarter, month, day, it automatically stores the dates in a hierarchical fashion. So we have data for 2 years, 2010 and 2011. So you can see the profit here and the profit here. Now, if I click on this and say go to the next level, right now it is by year. Look at the title as I do this. Okay, look at the title as I do this. You will understand it much in a much better way. So if I click here and go to the next level, directly it will go by quarter, because after year, what I have is quarter. So it has directly drilled down to quarter. This is the performance of the business in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So this is the performance of the business in quarter 1 from across all the years put together. So 2010, 2011, whatever it might be, data is consolidated and total profit from quarter 1 is being displayed. Total profit from quarter 2, total profit from quarter 3, and the overall profit from quarter 4. Total. Okay. So if I click here again, it goes to the next level. So what do we have after quarter? Month. So it will go down to month level. We have data for 12 months. You can see profit by month now. Jan, Feb, March, April, May, so on up to December. From all the years consolidated together like a summary report. Then again, if I drill down, day level. For in this data source, we have only data for the first day of every month. That is why first day of every month, total profit is summarized. Okay, so I'll just roll up. Now, instead of drilling down like this, what if I expand all down one level in hierarchy? So when I click here, it is by year as well as quarter. It's not 4 data points, it is 8 now. So it's showing me 2020 quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Similarly, again, 2021 quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. By year and quarter, you can see year and quarter. Okay, if I further expand one more level, it's by year, quarter, and month. Quarter 1, Jan, Feb, March, then quarter 2, April, May, June, then quarter 3, July, August, September, so on. Again, for the next year, quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, further when I drill down, it is at day level. So for each and every day, Okay, we have data only for the first of every month in this particular connection. So you'll see February 1st, March 1st, April 1st, and so on. So that is the difference between drill down and expanding one level down into the hierarchy. Now let me roll up. Now, what if I say I want to turn on the drill down, click to turn on drill down, means specific point is to be drilled down. Okay, if I turn on that mode, then when I click on a point, suppose I click on 2010, it's going to drill down and show only 2010. You see, it is year and quarter, but only for 2010. If I drill down, let's say on quarter 3, it will show me the 3 months in quarter 3, July, August, and September. It's not showing the other months. So you're basically targeting a particular data point. By using this, you're targeting a particular data point. By using this, you're drilling down completely. By using this, you're going to roll up. And by doing this, you're expanding it one level down in the hierarchy while you retain the parent level. So that is about drill down. And also the concept of line chart. Two things we have covered here. Visually, what a line chart represents. It shows time series data. So how the performance has been over a period of time, year over year, quarter over quarter. You can see 2010, the profits were pretty less, but in 2011, it kind of improved, and then, it's good. Compared to 2010, 2011 is good. That's what we can conclude over here. Okay. So because we are dealing with time series data, I think it will be more relevant to have a filter based on time series data, a slicer based on that. So I'm going to have a slicer now. I'm going to add a slicer visual. And in the slicer visual, I will put the date field. So when you have a slicer visual with a date field, it comes like this. It comes like a slider. Okay, and we have a lot of options over here to interact with the chart and report. I'll try to cover them. So let me just go ahead and let me just keep at this level. Okay, let me just go ahead and turn on the data labels first. Yeah. So now this slicer is showing the data for the entire range of dates. We have data starting from 1/1/2010 up to 1/12/2011. So it's the complete range of dates. By using this slicer, I can adjust the range of dates for which I might want to see the data. So depending on the range of dates that I select, you can see the chart getting updated. You can see the chart getting updated, showing me data just within the selection. The numbers are getting updated. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. The other option that we have is, earlier when we clicked here, we used to get, now we must go to format, slicer settings, options, and then go to style. Format. So, format, this format, okay, not that format, this format, slicer settings, options. Right now it is called between. So we can choose the range of dates. We can change the begin date as well as the end date, and we can see the data in between. We have something called as before. Before is where, before a certain point in time, whatever you might want to see. Okay, before a certain point in time, whatever you might want to see. So you can give the higher end date. The beginning date comes from your data connection. Okay, the beginning date comes from your data connection. The other option we have here is after. After is where, from a certain point in time until whatever might be the latest. So starting at so-and-so date until whatever data we have up to the latest, we want to see everything. That is when you go with after. Starting from a certain point onwards. Before means what? Starting from the beginning until certain point in time. From the beginning until certain point in time. Okay. Then we have something called as vertical list. So each and every day will come as a list, each and every date, and you have to choose from there, which is not extensively used to select each date. Text is style. So each date comes as a tile and you choose and you can see the data point for that particular thing. It's like here I did something. Okay, so then these two are not much used. Mostly we will be using between, before or after. A drop down or a drop down tile, these are not used. Then we have relative date. So relative to something, relative to, let me just go with between, select the entire range, bring the chart first. Okay, this is the entire range. Now, when I say relative date, then relative to today, what do you want to see? Let's say relative to today, I want to see the data for the last, let's say last year. It will not give anything. Of course, I don't have the data for last year over here, just trying to convey the concept. So last, let's say 15 years. Among the last 15 days, I have these 2 years. It's coming up. So relative to today, what do you want to see? Next, last, whatever number of units, and whether it is year, quarter, month, day, you can choose. Very useful feature. Relative to, let's say I want the data for this year, this month, this week. Okay, so we have a lot of options to choose and work with. So that is about the slicer filter, which is available, the slicer visual. And specifically when you're dealing with dates, what kind of impact it will have in the graph and what kind of options you have to filter your chart when you're dealing with dates. Okay, I hope everything discussed today is clear. One option that I couldn't cover due to lack of time is the drill through option, which I will take up tomorrow. But one thing that we have covered here, though it was not listed down, is line chart and visual filter for a time series data. Okay, visual filter for time series data. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for attending the session and extending your support. Please do like the video and share it with your friends, colleagues who you think might benefit from this particular recording. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow for the next session. Bye-bye.